So today we're going to be going over 10 fragrances, 10 colognes that are worth doubling up on. So really the topic of buying backup bottles is pretty divisive. Some people are for it, some people are against it. And for me, I really think it depends on a few different circumstances. Sometimes that'll be if a fragrance is discontinued or getting harder to find, and sometimes that can be if you just really like a fragrance and you want to make sure that you have another bottle of it on hand ready to go, especially if the bottle you currently have starts to run a bit low. And I guess another thing to tag along with that, similar to being discontinued, is reformulations, and sometimes that can be almost as bad as a fragrance getting discontinued when you remember how a fragrance smelled a certain way a few years ago and then nowadays you smell it and it's completely different. Some people will purchase backup bottles in order to avoid buying the newest version. But in any case, today I'm going to be going over 10 fragrances that I think are personally worth grabbing another bottle of. And if you do want to grab any of these fragrances for yourself, I will link them down below to fragrance discounters so you can check them out there. So let's go ahead and jump right into this one. First up, we do have a fragrance which is a bit harder to find at some times. This one is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. So there for a while, this was getting in stock and then going out of stock right away and kind of staying out of stock for a while, and it's kind of back and forth. I believe here lately it's been pretty consistently available on Fragrance X, and that's where I will link it down below if you want to grab one. And it's been in stock there for a while. However, I don't know if it's going to go out of stock again. I don't know if when it comes back the price is going to be higher. So this is one where if you like vanilla, you like benzoin, you like incense, which are the main notes in this one, this fragrance is 100% worth a blind buy and just to have in your collection easily. Now, if you're someone who's all about Nautica Voyage and Acqua di Gio and the freshies and you don't really like sweeter fragrances, then you're not going to like this because it is completely opposite to those fresh blue fragrances. This one is all about that warm kind of resinous vanilla smokiness that this one has. But for a designer fragrance, and especially for a car brand fragrance, this is top notch. Really good quality, a great designer vanilla scent, which isn't all that expensive. At least when you compare this to some of the niche counterparts, which, were $200+ online. So if you are a fan of vanilla, Mercedes-Benz Club Black, definitely worth doubling up on this one. I've done it personally myself. I just can't help it. I love the fragrance so much and I don't want to run out. Next up, we have a fragrance from Dior. This one is Eau Sauvage Cologne. So this one has bergamot, grapefruit, and vetiver as some of the main notes. Really, it's just going to be a more citrus-forward version of Eau Sauvage. Even though Eau Sauvage is already a citrus aromatic, right? Very fresh, kind of summery, but it does have a bit of a more traditional type of smell to it, all year-round signature scent. This one leans more for just summertime, bright, fresh, beautiful weather. Nice, warm, crisp air. That's what this one is all about. You get all that citrus, but you still do get this nice, classy, masculine vetiver in the base. So the reason why this one is worth doubling up on is because you're going to go heavy on this one, most likely. If you're wearing it in the springtime, you're wearing it in the summertime, it's not going to be the best performer. It's not awful, but it's not the greatest, right? It doesn't perform like Eau Sauvage Parfum, which is very, very strong, has a citron, has that vetiver in there, but it's much darker. This one is much lighter, so you may burn through it pretty quickly, and you will probably put a dent in your bottle quicker than you may think. So it might not be a bad idea to double up on this one, grab yourself a backup bottle, at least after you start consistently wearing through it and you see that level start to creep down, might as well grab another one. It's a great one to have around in your collection to still smell classy and fresh even when it's really hot outside. A lot of times you don't get that from a summer fragrance. You get something that's more youthful, but this one does have that somewhat traditional upscale type of smell with it. Moving along, we have another fresh, bright fragrance. This one's from Dunhill, and this one is Icon, the original, the fizzy grape soda smelling fragrance. And I tell you, every time I smell this one, I love it more and more. When I first got this one in, I really enjoyed it. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. But over time, as I've worn it more here, especially in spring, I've been wearing this one quite a bit. And just every time I smell it, I'm like, wow, this is really, really good. There's something about that fizzy neroli kind of citrus combination that you get from this one, which smells like nothing else out there. This one has neroli, bergamot, black pepper, and petitgrain as some of the main notes. And that neroli and citrus and everything just kind of gives it this fizzy grape soda, sparkling, effervescent smell. Very addictive, great one in the springtime, and it works well in the summertime as well. This is another one where you will start to wear through this pretty quickly. You may find yourself really craving it often, and before you know it, you've put a decent sized dent in your bottle, and you can see the level of it down there at the bottom. It is glass for you, so that way you can see it, and it'll start to go pretty quickly. So this one's not a bad idea to double up on. It's affordable, usually around $40 on discounters. Really, really solid one. Up next, we have a fragrance from Guerlain. It's one of their newer releases. This one is Loam IDL Extreme. We've got plum, almond, and tobacco is some of the main notes in this one, and by far is my favorite from the Loam IDL line. Seriously, I mean, this one has climbed the ranks. It overtook all of the other ones. It overtook Cologne, it overtook the Eau de Parfum, it overtook the L'Intense. This one's at number 1 for me. There's something about that plum, almond, tobacco mixture which smells so good. You get the plum, which isn't used all that often in men's fragrances. And really, you even get the prominent almond note, which isn't all that popular, and you do get the tobacco, which is a popular note, but it all mixes together. It's all very smooth, it's warm, it's inviting. This one's ultra classy, very upscale, great one for an evening out, great one for a gentleman, 100% worth grabbing a couple bottles of this one just to have around. Such a good, addicting scent for fall and winter time. Moving along, we have another floral-leaning fragrance. This one is Prada Loam. One of the best soapy office school clean fresh fragrances out there. We've got iris, neroli, and violet in here, some of the main notes. So really it's all about the iris. Makes it powdery, makes it floral, and that's something that some people will have a problem with. So you have to understand that this is a men's floral, and it is something that's going to be bit different. You know, it's not your traditional type of men's scent. You know, that iris neroli in here does give it a bit of a lighter, powdery touch, but it does smell very clean, very luxurious. A lot of people will compare this to smelling like an expensive bar of soap at like a hotel, you know, a high-end hotel, and I can see that. You know, it just does have this high-end, masculine, great smell about it, very clean, kind of musky. A great dumb reach fragrance, one that can be worn for anything, good signature scent. And even though it's a Prada, it's not all that expensive on discounters, making this one pretty obtainable for a lot of you guys out there. And this is one where you will wear through it fast. I've worn this fragrance quite a bit, considering the amount of fragrances that I have, right? I can choose from a lot of things, so I do switch it up a lot. But, you know, I've kind of worn it quite a few times, and you can see how it already is getting a dent in it. I mean, you know, it doesn't take long to start to burn through this one because it's so wearable, such a dumb reach. This is a fragrance that you could wear 5 days in a row and not get tired of it and just keep going back to it because it is so easy. This is Prada Loam, definitely worth having a backup of. Moving on, we have another citrus-based fragrance. You can see there's kind of a little bit of a trend here in this video. This one's from Burberry. It is Weekend For Men. This one, you have lemon, grapefruit, bergamot, orange is some of the main notes, a bunch of citrus, a bunch of fruit, and that's what this one's all about. Very clean, fresh, fruity, citrusy, musky as well. This is nothing that's going to blow you away, so don't think that this is going to be a super unique citrus fresh fragrance, but it is really nice, very bright, very uplifting, and as I'm sure you could guess, it is a Burberry. It's on the more affordable side, and with that comes lesser performance than a lot of other fragrances out there, and that's what you would expect from something with this type of note breakdown. So really, it's worth having a couple bottles of if it's something you do like to wear, because you're going to run through it quickly in the spring and summertime. But it is cheap, you know, you can afford to grab it a couple times and really wear it and enjoy it if that is something that you like. Moving along, we have Paco Rabanne Pure Excess. This is kind of another one of those fragrances where every time I would come back to it, I would like it just a little bit more. You know, I would smell it, I would wear it, I'd be like, man, I forgot how good this is. Next time I would come around to it, wear it again, be like, man, I forgot how good this is. I like it even more. And over the time of me having this one and not having this one, it came out in 2017. I've bought it and sold it a couple times, just, you know, trying to clean things out. And now I finally have it, and this bottle is here to stay. And I'm like, yeah, this is really, really good. You get sugar, myrrh, vanilla, and a bit of a boozy touch out of this one. Very sweet, but also a bit of a fizziness. Kind of has this cola type of smell, which you can compare to something like Roja Parfum's Creation E or Enigma, where that one is kind of said to have a cola smell. And this one comes across in a similar way. Completely different scents, but it does give you this fizzy cola smell with this nice sweetness up top. Very addicting, very sexy. It's sweet, it's inviting, it's almost gourmand in a way. Really, really nice fragrance. And from Paco Rabanne, I was not expecting anything this good really to come out of them, this unique anyway, because it is quite a bit unique. And sure, Paco Rabanne puts out great fragrances. I'm not bashing them, but it's not often that we get something that really is quite different. And this one here, along with the Night Flanker, are both really good. And here in general, this Pure Excess, definitely worth having a backup bottle of. You can wear through this one a lot in the fall and winter time, even in spring, maybe spring evenings and summer evenings if you wanted something sexy for nighttime. Really, really nice one. Running down to the end, we have a fragrance from Armani. This one is Armani Code Colonia. So the flanker that really got dissed on when it first came out, but is actually really good. You get tonka bean, amberwood, and orange out of this one. So it does follow that blue fragrance category a little bit, and that's why this one does get the hate. But it's done in a really nice way. Clean, fresh, and just very wearable. Has a slight sweet bubblegummy touch, but also just this very clean linens, lavender type of smell. And that does kind of come from the amberwood rather than, you know, the ambrox and heavy fragrances. So it does have a cleanness about it. Nice creaminess from the orange. Is a bit different than a lot of the other ones, and I do like it for that. You know, there's times where I would definitely reach for this one over Dylan Blue or Sauvage. You know, they just are different. Performance is decent on this one. Not like Armani Code Profumo or Absolute, but it's decent. It will get the job done, but it's another ultra versatile scent that can be worn any year around. And if you do decide to make this one your signature scent, you're going to be burning through it pretty quickly, and at some point it would be wise to grab a second bottle of. It's really nice to have around in the collection. Just another one of those great dumb reach fragrances that you don't have to think about. Second to last fragrance, we have Halloween Man X. This one has coffee, whiskey, and tonka bean as some of the main notes here in this one. And it's a really, really well done coffee, boozy, sweet fragrance for the price, which is about $20. Yes, $20. And you can get a really, really solid coffee, whiskey, sweet, powdery fragrance. Really impressive stuff. It deserves all of the hype that this one gets, which it does get quite a bit of hype. Definitely not a hidden gem or anything, but you can get this one for so cheap, and it's so worth to have it in the fall and winter time and evenings. It works great. And again, you know, you can burn through this one relatively quickly, and it's definitely worth having a backup bottle of. I mean, pretty much everyone should have this in their collection. If you do like the sweeter scents, this is a must-have. Last up, we have Loam Le Parfum. This one has violet leaves, ozonic notes, and amberwood as some of the main notes. So this one is a very fresh, vibrant, airy, almost watery type of fragrance. That wateriness comes from the violet leaves. The ozonic notes give it this airy kind of wispy type of smell. This one kind of falls into the category of something like Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum and Eau de Toilette, from the same brand, just different fragrance lines. And I'm not saying that this is like a clone of Yves Saint Laurent Y or vice versa, but it does fall in that similar category of something that's ultra versatile, very wearable, very clean, very fresh, and just a dumb reach scent. Great for younger guys out there who want to smell good and don't want to worry about messing around with something that may be polarizing. Really great scent that is worth grabbing another bottle of if you start to burn through it. That's it for me, guys. That was 10 fragrances that are worth doubling up on. Let me know what you would pick down below. And remember, if you want to grab some for yourself at a discount, those links will be down there as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.